Jahiliyyah is one that we are all aware of. It is a term that is used in the Quran, and our Prophet ﷺ also used it. And the term implies the pre-Islamic paganism and outright ignorance that existed, and the goal of Islam was to eradicate Jahiliyyah. So the term Jahiliyyah is the antithesis, is the opposite of what Islam came to do. Islam came to educate, and the word Jahil implies ignorance. Islam came to enlighten, and Jahiliyyah implies darkness. So Islam came to eliminate Jahiliyyah. So let us look at where and how the Quran uses the term Jahiliyyah. We discover something very interesting. The term Jahiliyyah is used 4 times in the Quran. And if we look at each and every one of these verses, we see one of the main goals that Islam came to fulfill, and the opposite, to eradicate the opposite of that goal. Okay, so today very briefly we will discuss the 4 instances in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the concept of Jahiliyyah, and the goal is that we understand what Islam came to oppose. Jahiliyyah is the opposite of the enlightenment of Islam, because what's the first word revealed in the Quran? Iqra, read, and that's the opposite of Jahil. And the Quran is a nur, and Jahiliyyah is dhulumat. So the first verse revealed regarding Jahiliyyah is in Surah Al-Imran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, تَظُنُّونَ غَيْرَ الْحَقِّ ظَنَّ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ. You have thoughts about Allah. تَظُنُّونَ بِاللَّهِ غَيْرَ الْحَقِّ. You had misconceptions about Allah. And your misconceptions were the misconceptions of Jahiliyyah. So this is the first Jahiliyyah that Islam came to eradicate. Superstition, mythology, bizarre understandings about God, creation, the metaphysical. So the Quran came to teach you who is Allah. The Quran came to teach you that Allah Azza wa Jalla should be worshipped. There are no idols. There are no other false gods. In the context of this verse, the people were saying, there's no point doing anything, we're gonna die. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, this is dhann al-jahiliyyah. Allah controls everything, not you, not your enemies. The munafiqun were saying, there's no point. This is in the battle of Uhud. There's no point, we're all gonna die. Remember those 300 munafiqun? And Allah said, this was your jahiliyyah dhunun. You thought wrong about Allah. Allah controls everything, not the enemy, not this, not that. So the first pillar that Islam came to teach, and its opposite to eradicate, is the pillar of Tawheed, the pillar of theology, the pillar of who are you, who created you, why are you here, what's the goal of life. That is the main purpose of Islam. The second time the word Jahiliyyah occurs, we're talking about chronologically, not when you open the Quran, the second revelation. The second revelation, Surah Al-Ahzab. Surah Al-Ahzab. Surah Ahzab was revealed in the 5th year of the Hijrah. And in that surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. And He's speaking to the women, do not display of your bodies and beauty the way that the women of Jahiliyyah would display their bodies. So this is the second pillar of Jahiliyyah that Islam came to eradicate. And that is morality versus immorality. That is dignity and haya and decency and family values versus the opposite, which is animalism, which is hedonism, which is sensuality. If you're going to open this door, then look around you, we see what is happening. There is no haya, there is no understanding of family. And subhanAllah, just a footnote here, there are so many studies going on that demonstrate one of the main causes of the violence and of the gangs and of the drugs, one of the main causes of kids going into mass shootings is actually that they don't come from stable families. When you don't have families that instill values in children, when you don't have the building block of society, then society is going to go completely down the drain, and you're going to lose the glue that holds society together. So the second pillar that Islam came to fortify is the pillar of decency, and through it, the pillar of family. And that is haya, and that is the concept of basically overall the morality that we call in English. This is the second pillar of Islam, and the opposite is the pillar of Jahiliyyah, that is immodesty, that is brazenly displaying your beauty, that is having premarital, intermarital, no big deal. All types of animalism, all types of hedonism has become permissible. That is Jahiliyyah. So Allah says, don't do like the Jahiliyyah of old. So this is the second Jahiliyyah that Islam came to eradicate. The third verse regarding Jahiliyyah, it was revealed in the 6th year of the Hijrah, and it is in Surah Fatah. And in Surah Fatah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the people of the people of Kufr in Mecca, they reinstigated in their hearts hamiyyat al-jahiliyyah, the pride and nationalism of the Jahiliyyah. In other words, they were calling for nation, we can call it, let's say, the paganism of tribalism, sectarianism, nationalism, racial identity. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls this differentiation of mankind based upon your skin color, based upon your ethnic origin, based upon who your great-great-great-great-grandfather is. Because what was the call of the Quraysh of Mecca? That we are all one tribe. So we are always on the right. No matter what anybody does, we're going to stick together. And this is basically any call that is based upon your skin color or your heritage or your nation state. No, the nation state can be wrong, your heritage can be wrong, your skin color doesn't make you better. But the presumption that because I am somebody of this background, I am better than another person, this is Jahiliyyah. Hamiyyat al-Jahiliyyah. This is the fanaticism of Jahiliyyah that is based upon what? That is based upon origin, that is based upon sectarianism, that is based upon your identity. And the main identity that makes us who we are is not the language that we speak. It's not the color of my skin. It's not where my mother gave birth to me. It's not the passport I hold. It is the values that describe me. And Islam is, of course, the most important value. And that is why huwa sammakum al-muslimin. Islam came to eradicate all the Jahiliyyah that divides mankind upon false divisions, upon imaginary divisions. There is no such thing, as I gave a khutbah earlier this year, called a race. A race is a social construct. Black skin, brown skin, white skin, no such thing. This is a figment of the imagination. If your skin color is a certain thing, doesn't mean anything. Your blood is the same. You know you can have the DNA of somebody from Africa and your skin color is white. Skin color means nothing in actual biology. This is Jahiliyyah. The same goes for the nation state. Who cares where my mother gave birth to me? That doesn't define me. So there's a border here. If I'm born this, then that means I'm this. If I'm born there, this means this. No, these divisions are Jahili divisions. They're okay to identify with, but if you're going to think yourself better, if you're going to think yourself that, oh, just because I was born on this side of the border, this makes me better than you, or because my great-great-grandfather was so-and-so, I'm better than you. This is hamiyyat al-jahiliyyah. This is the essence of the Jahiliyyah of sectarianism and division. So Islam came to eradicate all of this and to unify people of the same value, the same theology, the same morality, i.e. the same religion. We are Muslims, and that is our primary definition. And then the fourth and final verse that was revealed about Jahiliyyah is Surah Al-Ma'idah. Surah Al-Ma'idah was the final verse revealed. Ibn Abbas said it was the final of the large surahs revealed. And it was revealed a year before the death of the Prophet ﷺ. And it mentions the word Jahiliyyah as well. And it is the famous verse, أَفَحُكْمَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ يَبْغُونَ. Do they wish for the judgment of the days of Jahiliyyah? وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حُكْمًا لِقَوْمٍ يُوقِنُونَ. And who is better than Allah to be a judge in all of your affairs? So this talks about overall the system of laws. Where do they come from? Overall, how do we derive our laws in a society? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you have the laws of Islam, and then you have laws that are basically random, that are basically erratic. They can choose and they can change from culture and generation, which is what we are seeing in our times. Literally, as we speak, so many laws are being changed. So Allah calls them the laws of Jahiliyyah. To summarize, these are the four main points that Islam came to fulfill, and the opposite is Jahiliyyah. Number one, good theology, good aqidah, good belief, good iman. And the opposite is superstition. It is myth. It is not knowing who created you and why you're here and what's the purpose of life. The second is family values, decency, modesty, haya, and the opposite is وَلَا تَتَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. Do not display your nudity like the women of Jahiliyyah did. All of that is Jahiliyyah. Allah has given you akhlaq and morality better than that. That's the second Jahiliyyah that Islam came to eradicate. The third Jahiliyyah is the hamiyyah al-Jahiliyyah, and that is the fanaticism of sectarianism, the fanaticism of constructed identities that are not real, either based upon your tribe or based upon your geographic origin or based upon your skin color. These are all Jahiliyyah, and Islam said no such thing. All of us are the children of Adam, and all of us are equally the same except with taqwa. That is how we define ourselves. The one who has taqwa, the one who has iman versus the one who doesn't have iman. And then the final Jahiliyyah that Islam came to eradicate is the Jahiliyyah of any type of laws that are not set from a divine guidance. If you just let it be random, then laws will keep on changing and whatnot, and this is a type of Jahiliyyah or backwardness, and Islam is calling for a stability that of course goes against that backwardness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala eradicate all remnants of Jahiliyyah from our heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cleanse us from any, even of the small stigmas of Jahiliyyah, and may Allah enlighten us with the Quran and with the Sunnah so that we can eliminate Jahiliyyah from our households and our masajid and our communities. وجزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.